You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now.
All right.
Alrighty, my friend.
Good morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
Cheers.
Happy Saturday this time, because I said happy Monday last week. It's been also a long week, but I think I know my days.
So I'm trying. This is the freshly roasted coffee
Ooh,
from our buddy Neil.
very cool.
Neil is, I don't know if anybody that was at Monerotopia probably met him. He was there roasting coffee live.
Live.
But this is the first time I actually tried what we've been sending out.
And what do you think?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Wow.
Better than Dunkin' Donuts.
Alrighty, let's give it an applause.
It will only get better though. We're improving. You know, we're not coffee experts, guys. You know, we're Monero experts.
For Monero right? Yes,
We're Monero people doing coffee.
we're Monero people doing coffee. Yep.
But yeah, the fact that he's roasting it on demand is pretty cool. I think he's getting better. The other issue was the green beans that we bought down in Guatemala that we brought back were not yet filtered. So typically they're filtered out with this machine that takes out all the undesirable pieces, like the malformed beans, and they call them Quakers. They're basically so is that like a derogatory term? I don't know.
Quakers.
They're basically the beans that are, I guess they weren't really fully ripened, so they don't really roast well. So when you roast the coffee and you have the Quakers in there, you could even see them. They come out a different color. They come out like more white. So you got to pick, the guy who's doing it is filtering all the coffee out. So, but the next time we order the batch, we'll order it pre-filtered so they can use that machine. It does a better job than what we can do or what Neil can do on his own. But it's good.
It's good coffee.
Yeah.
It's good coffee. Long story short, it's good coffee. He's really gotten into the coffee business now, guys. Monero coffee. What else will he do?
And we might be adding coffee from Colombia.
Yeah, that should be cool. Give people options.
So we've been talking about it for a while, adding more things to Gratuitous. Oh, we redid the website, relaunched it. Still needs work, but we got the working structure up. So now you could seamlessly buy your coffee with Monero. You're always able to buy it with Monero, but we used a workaround way, which is really ghetto. We apologize, but it was just a way for us to quickly get up the website, and then we never had
people
time
are
to,
nice.
to
People never
fix the website.
People
So now
understood.
we finally made it a proper e-commerce website. We use WooCommerce. We built the Monero gateway into there, so you could properly buy your coffee with it. You're always able to buy it with Monero, but in a janky way. Now you can do it seamlessly, which is pretty cool.
Seamlessly.
And we'll add now payments, just like we did with the conference website. So that's cool. And then we got a lot of ideas. We just don't have the time.
God.
So many ideas.
Too many ideas. Oh no. Want me to get it?
This is something else I want to mention. Can we mention
this
now?
Mention it now quickly before we move on to the
So one of the biggest mistakes we made at Monerotopia, we made a few. Overall, I think it was,
It was our first time, guys.
But one of the biggest ones we made was not opening up the package we received from Siddhartha. We were supposed to give it to one of the vendors there, and they were going to sell his artwork. And we were so overwhelmed, it never got opened.
No, it never did. We realized that at the end.
If you guys had seen us the day before, those that were down there would understand why that didn't happen. We were like,
we did not sleep
on the fly. So this one package never got opened, and Siddhartha sent us all these
beautiful
prints.
You're gorgeous.
Amazing. couple of different ones, and he sent them with a authentication certificate. Some of them are signed. So I took the first version of each print stack, and I will be paying Siddhartha for them. But they're
and we'll be framing more because he did this one too.
Really, really awesome, really nice. Yeah, we'll putting them up in our backyard.
Backyard.
Background.
Haha, backyard.
This one I love. People have probably seen this on Twitter.
It's gorgeous. It's such a great job.
So we have a bunch of them, and so we'll bring them to MoneroKon so we could sell them there for Siddhartha.
Well, we're not sure.
I don't know if he'll be
yet,
there.
Yeah.
Oh well, we're going. We're going.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
No,
but it's in the works.
They sold out, but we're going as
it's in the works. It's in the works.
Going as media, if we can make it work with our dates and whatnot. So if we do go, we'll bring these.
Yes. We're definitely bringing to Pork Fest.
We'll
definitely
bring to Pork Fest, so people can buy these on the spot with Monero. Almost, we'll give you Siddhartha's wallet.
Really cool though. It does such a great job. It's amazing.
I think he wanted to sell these for like.
Well, we should ask him.
We'll ask him.
Yeah, we're not really sure, but yeah, this was our Monerotopia picture that he made for us.
These would all be really great for the New York City Monero Freedom Fest. Monerotopia Freedom Fest. He's got a lot of New York themes here. Maybe he was trying to tell me something. And then he could come there and he can do like graffiti.
That'd be really cool.
If he did it in
Just
New
such
York,
a great job.
It'd be amazing.
Liberty and freedom. No wonder Douglas likes this one. So if you're at the events that we are going to or potentially going to.
Oh, we'll bring them to the Libertarian Convention too. Anybody going there, we'll be there.
We're in the works of doing that. But
Steve doesn't want to commit to anything. We'll be in Reno. We'll be at Conferenca, 100%. We'll be at Pork Fest. We'll be there. At least I'll be there.
Of course you will. Everywhere. We'll be everywhere, guys. Everywhere.
Libertarian Convention is pretty cool. We decided to go there because that should be a really cool venue to get the word out about Monero to people that may not yet know about Monero. Obviously, I would hope a lot of them already do, or at least are familiar with crypto, considering they're libertarians, and so there's a lot of overlap there with the ideals of libertarianism and what crypto is trying to do. But it's going to be different than a crypto conference, so I think there's more opportunity there to kind of grow, to introduce people that have not yet really stopped to learn about Monero, but have every reason to want to learn about Monero. I think it's going to be kind of the perfect audience for that. So that should be really cool.
Dun, dun, dun. That's pretty cool. So those are in the works. That should be exciting. If you're not aware of our New York City meetup that we're having on June 8th, the Tail Emission Fiesta, well, quote unquote Fiesta, it's just a meetup. We're still trying to find a location, but we'll obviously announce it once we figure that out. But we see that other people are joining in on the fun as well. I don't know if you already know, there's going to be one in Las Vegas, Nevada. The guy from Spore Baby is hosting that one. Denver, Colorado, you can hang out with Chill and Matt. And then the most recent one, Chicago, Illinois, with Justin. So we have them. Oh, the applause.
They all deserve an applause.
They all do it. So let's do three. That's 1, 2, 3.
Chill. I think. Oh, I tweeted about it a day ago, and I forgot to mention the Denver one. I got so excited.
But they're in the description for those of you that are interested in going to meetups. And also, if you want to host one, or you don't necessarily have to host
the page,
one.
show the meetup page, show ours or Chicago's.
Yeah.
So we want to get other people to do it too. So we got a good start here. We still have time, guys. We should get one going in Argentina.
I know we keep throwing that out.
Portugal.
Anyone that's out there.
We're gonna have to individually reach out to people.
I know.
Andreas, what are you doing, man?
I know.
Throw a Monero meetup.
Well, it doesn't have to be like a big thing for those of you that are like a little not sure. Just literally just go meet up at a location, at a bar, at a coffee shop, whatever your heart desires, and then
wherever you meet, though, you need to get them to accept Monero.
Yes.
At least that's what we'll be doing.
We're going to be trying to do that. Yeah, everyone just try.
I highly, recommend everybody do the same. Pick a bar, restaurant, you know, take a day or two, call them up. I don't know, some restaurant you currently frequent, have a relationship with, get them to accept Monero for the day. For everybody that shows up, it's not like a million people are going to show up. I'm sure. So.
Woo! I don't know. We have a decent amount. Well, this is the New York one. 12 so far, which isn't too shabby. We'll be hosting it with Vic.
Our Monero New York
Wallet.
City parties.
They used to be epic.
They were
fun.
But that was because people were in town for the conference.
Yeah.
For other
But
conferences.
we had a lot of people.
I think we can get, you know, we haven't really pushed it yet. Especially, we need to reach out to, what's his name that does the Monero meetup?
Pat.
Oh,
yeah. From X Cubicle. Yep. He's awesome too. He does the meetups. He does the general.
He does his own meetup, and then he was throwing Monero meetups back in the day, and then we started working together. He's awesome, dude. Really awesome dude. Old school crypto guy, knows a lot of stuff, and just a really good guy. He's like a very community oriented fellow. He's, you know, which I think is why he likes Monero. So we got to reach out to he even said that he might have reached out.
He might have a spot. Yeah, we just haven't had a chance to go check it out.
So once he gets it out to his people, we get it out to ours. Vic, obviously from Cake, is going to be sponsoring it, and I hope he'll be attending if he's in town. So he'll bring in some people. I don't know, maybe we
got a decent amount.
If we push it, we could probably get like 50 people. Yeah.
Okay, calm down. Yeah, on a Wednesday in New York City at 5:30. Yeah, okay, guys. Anywho, it's okay. Be hopeful.
I'll be out there advertising it in front of the restaurant. Huge Monero. One of those like signs that you wear.
I know you're laughing, but it's sad to say that he will probably be doing that, guys.
These are the things I'm good at. You know.
Yes.
Use me, guys. Use me for my skills. How about when how about our little story of the Breaking Bad guys?
Oh, that's a funny one, actually.
Brian, what's his name?
Brian Cranston and Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. If you guys are if any of you are Breaking Bad fanatics, apparently they were throwing like a little not party, but like a bar.
They were guest bartenders.
Yeah, they were guest bartenders at a place in Connecticut,
which is relatively close to us.
Yeah,
not super close.
Not super. Well, with traffic, with no traffic, it's fine.
Anyway, we ran over there because I had mentioned it on the show, I think once or twice, but we want to add gratuitous to other things, other existing products. One we thought would be great is
adding mezcal. Dos
Hombres mezcal brand. So it was started by the Breaking Bad guys. It's really good mezcal. So we wanted to add gratuitous to their mezcal. So it'd be like an additional label on their thing. And we'd go down to Mexico and we'd find out, we'd be introduced to their producers and we'd give them all Monero wallets. And then anybody that's purchasing this Dos Hombres mezcal would see a little label on there. Oh, now you can tip the mezcal producers directly. And it would be a great way for people who aren't familiar with Monero to maybe start learning about it, whatever, send a tip. Anyway,
story short, they were in Connecticut.
Ran over to Connecticut.
I was driving that day because I was like, I'll drive. And
thousands of people were
there. It was ridiculous. It's a place that fit maybe I don't know, 75 people or even less.
And
it's like a little restaurant.
It was a pizza place. It was big.
Yeah, it was 75 people for
the pizza place was packed, and then
the line wrapped around the block.
It was like a quarter mile. It was people, and we're like, what the hell? What are all these people doing? So obviously, Breaking Bad has a big following, but people were out there were drinking online, they were going into a concert.
Were hanging out. It's all good,
and nobody was getting only 100 people were going to get in. There were thousands, so we were like, all right, screw this. Sunita was actually still parking the car.
Yes, guys, of course.
I was like, so I got one.
He ran out the car.
I was like, I got one shot at this. Maybe they'll just show up because they're supposed to show up at 6 o'clock, and it was already 6:05 by the time we showed up. Sure enough, I hear screaming,
I was not there, guys.
All excited.
I was parking the car,
and I looked down the street, and a black van is coming down the street, and people are all behind barricades and they're trying to jump. Anyway, so I just nonchalantly somehow make my way into the street and just walk down the street towards the van. The van is very slowly coming towards me, and the van has to stop because now I'm in its way. And Brian Cranston opens the door and trying to ignore me because I guess they're very good at ignoring people because they're used to being swarmed by people. But I had my 15 seconds with him, eye to eye. Said, just listen up for a sec. Gave him the quick pitch.
Talk about aggressive.
And then tried to give him the bag of coffee. And then I think like his people were like afraid of me. Like, who is this guy? What does he have? So he refused to take the coffee. He did listen up though. He tuned in for about 10 to 15 seconds and he wouldn't take the bag of coffee. But then I gave it to his driver who didn't want to take it after they were whisked away. So I did get the bag of gratuitous coffee to his driver. Whether or not he gave it to them, I do not know. But we'll continue to follow up with those guys. I'm sure they'll now remember me, and they'll once we see, somehow make contact again. So yeah.
So that was our story of the week, which was pretty interesting. Yeah, that was pretty funny. At first, I thought he was lying to me. I was like, "You're bullshitting, right?" He's like, "No, I'm serious." I was like, "What?" And I was parking the car because I'm
mission accomplished.
Yeah. Awesome.
So what any other intro stuff? Or
quickly, yeah, well, we'll talk about the Monerotopia premiere videos if you haven't watched them. We released a few this week. Philip Zimmerman, the Monero and Haven integration into Thor chain with Seth as the host, and Elizabeth Binks talking about Ethereum XMR atomic swaps. So if you haven't checked those out, they're really
she was awesome. I didn't get to watch her when we were at the event. Another one I basically missed all the
time. We were running around like maniacs.
Amazing. She's so amazing. She came out of nowhere too. She's like an Ethereum first person that's now obviously she's very much into privacy, and she's building these ETH to XMR atomic swaps. She's basically got it working. She's just testing it, but amazing to. She's kind of like a one man, one woman show there, building this thing on her own, and she's doing it. She's got it. She's figured it out. Exciting to see. I hope I don't know. I hope we see some traction there once we get ETH to XMR atomic swaps going.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so if you haven't watched those, please do, and make sure to like the video because it helps spread it out into the internet world. Yeah. So
and we often have the speakers live.
We've been trying to reach out to all the speakers to see if they can be present during the premiere, just to make it a little more fun, because then you can ask them questions. We got, obviously there were a few coming out next week, so stay tuned. Be on the lookout, my friends. And I guess with that, that's about it. I guess let's move on to the price report. I think we've spoken enough. You've spoken enough.
Yeah, we went too long. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
Let's move on to the price segment. The Monerotopia price report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer. Hello, aFungible. How's it going?
Hello, Douglas, Sunita. How are you doing?
Hey,
good,
man.
Good.
I
Look
love
at
that
that.
we could put a face to the voice
no
now.
one will ever know.
That was great, man. I really enjoyed our dinner. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Great that we.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Certainly something to remember for long.
Time.
Yeah, I wish we had more time. I wish it was like lunch or something going into the dinner.
And you went to Monero.
Yeah, we went to Monroe, and I hope they are able to change the name, or we can create our own restaurant. That'll be.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the food kind of. I know you're not from around here, so you don't really have much of a comparison. But the food was really subpar. I apologize for that, but it was worth.
No, absolutely
for the name.
I think we just went there for the name, together. So that was the best part, and also I think you convincing the person, the waiter.
Yeah.
For the tip in Monero was pretty fabulous.
You got to witness it, right? So it's
it's not the first time, I believe, for you.
No. All righty.
So what's going on?
Yeah. All right. So this is the price report for today. As we all know, there's blood on the streets. This fear and greed index is really down to single digits almost. There's a pretty old quote by Baron Rothschild. You don't have to believe him, but not many people probably like him, but he's a banking person. But let's get to what's to be discussed in this price report. I'm just going to brief about the global political situation because that impacts price and the psychology of traders. I discussed about the Mayer multiple. I got a little more data on that extracted, and then go into the technical price action and a flippening surprise that is coming our way. Um, with respect to the geopolitical situation, we have a number of things, factors playing on. I think all these factors have to be settled in before we could see meaningful rally up ahead. So that is also the housing markets. It's in a clear bubble. It's not coming down anytime soon, I believe. Inflation and the Russia-Ukraine situation putting a cap on the supply chains and the fuel prices, and also the US dollar strengthening. When it strengthens, we see the Bitcoin is basically uh, inversely proportional to the US dollar strengthening, and a lot is at play right now. With respect to the Mayer multiple, I think the last time I showed this, which depicts the volatility around the 200-week moving average. And what is happening going forward is like the price is getting towards mean reversion. I made a table here getting all the data points. So we had, let's say, four major bull bear markets so far, and you see the value is like on the y-axis, the Mayer multiple. In the very first bull bear market, we had a peak of 12.46 and 0.24 as the trough for Mayer multiple. And just for our viewers, when we have a Mayer multiple of 1.0, that means Bitcoin is at the exactly at the 200-day moving average. So these peak and troughs have been reducing. You see that it's 7.28, 0.38, 3.73. And right now we are at the cusp of 2.82 was when we had the 2021 bull market where Bitcoin touched about $69,000. And right now when it touched $25,000 last week, we were at 0.63. Currently, we are at 0.66. And with some data projection, I found that the lowest expected trough for this bear cycle points to about 0.54, which means we can go as low as $18,000 or $23,000. It depends on how the market plays out, but it has to be a capitulation event. I'm not saying that we have to get there because we are already pretty much, very much oversold. And also historically, whenever the Mayer multiple is below 1.0, that means it's a great time for accumulation. And like I'm just reiterating that because I'm practicing that for myself. Um, so yeah, this is where the minimum I see us going, which means if it goes this low, then it's going to be short-lived. So in my understanding, the lower we go in price, the more short-lived it will be. So if you are, let's say, staying around 30,000, it can be for months. So that is like I would rather have us going through this pain of dipping down like a capitulation, how it happened in 2020 COVID times on March in March in 2020. Uh, I would like us to be in that kind of a situation, which is quite difficult because we have a lot of demand coming in already around $29,000. And if we were to go this down, I think retail is going to capitulate, unfortunately, and the big players are going to enter into the markets in droves. So that is something I don't like, but we have to see how that goes. But we are already at we are nearing the bottom, let's say. And in terms of the fear and greed, I think, yeah, this is where we are. It's not moving much, but I think it's soon enough we are going to move. We might go into the single digits once again, uh, and then we're going to shoot up. I think we have to. It's imperative, I think. And just correlating this data that I already spoke about with respect to the total market cap, you would see that if I project this descending triangle, it projects to about this is the total market crypto market cap, which projects to around 750-ish billion dollars, which also points to the previous all-time high of Bitcoin. However, you would see that on RSI we are already oversold, so I don't see us going down like immediately. But this capitulation is just an event that happens overnight. So that is, of course, RSI can go down to 20, which it has in the past, but I think we have to wait and watch. But this is an indication we are already oversold. In terms of the BTC USD chart, I had drawn a few more area of supports. Now the 36,000 has become a resistance, and 29,000 still remains a major support. And of course, this is the extra line that I drew, 18,500 on RSI. We are very much oversold. Max CD looks good. We are looking forward to a reversal. And what I see play out in the coming days is that Bitcoin offers a rally to go up to $36,000, which is the previous support. Now the resistance, and it touches this, and if it's not unable to break $36,000, that is the time we can head down again and try to test lower levels, which is about $24,000. $25,000 was what we saw recently. I think this is where we dipped. Some people call this as the capitulation, but I think there is still weakness in the markets, and we can like revisit those levels once more. I would like it to actually. In terms of the XMR USD chart, it's always perplexing in nature because of the volatility XMR offers. But if we see the greater trend or overall scheme of things, XMR, even though the market is going down quite a lot, XMR has been retaining its number 30 position. And as I saw it in the last couple of days, it's even doing better than 30. So it's in 25, 26 position right now, XMR. So even though the market is going down, XMR is not losing value in the overall scheme of things. And it's going to be interesting because we also have the tail emission coming up within a month. And it's hard to predict what the psychology of the market would be. I think when we saw the Bitcoin halvening cycle play out, the price used to rally a couple of months after the halvening. So we have to see if what Monero does going forward. It's going to be interesting. And also about the 120 support level, I saw that it did touch that level and bounce back. However, we are still stuck around $180. We have to breach the $180 going forward. We are somewhere in the middle of the Bollinger Band. So we have to see how this does. I think it's going to uh, oscillate around $180 before breaking up again. So it all depends on how the overall market and Bitcoin behaves in the coming days. In terms of the XMR dominance, this is a good news because we have clearly broken up above the long-term uptrend. So the percentage of dominance that XMR has right now has risen from mere 0.15% to 0.26%. Post tail emission, it would be interesting to see if it can touch 1%. That will be a great milestone, in my opinion. And the last part is the flippening part. Monero is about $3.2 billion, and Bitcoin Cash is about $3.6 billion. So as I said, in the overall scheme of things, Monero has been performing quite well. If we can flip Bitcoin Cash even momentarily, I think it can create some ripple in the news. And there can be quite some discussion about which is a better currency because people do see the position.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see what happens.
You
I'm giving it a week. Yeah.
Oh, you're giving it a week? Yeah. You think?
Well, it's not that far away, right?
Yeah. All right. I like what you're thinking. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all from my side for today. Any questions?
Awesome, man. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, so what do you think about Monero right now? I mean, it does seem to be climbing up the ranks as the entire market is just, Bitcoin obviously isn't doing much right now.
Yeah.
So why now? Why is Monero climbing right now? You think any particular reasons, or
yeah, actually,
yeah?
If you see that it's been probably the best performing asset in the top 50 or even top 60. Why it is climbing right now? I think from the technical standpoint, it's simply it's like there was a capitulation in Monero and then it climbed back. It's really hard to put a data point. It can also be the tail emission is catching up and we have the hard fork coming up. hard fork the next month. So there is anticipation of that the price is climbing up where it's already oversold. So there are a number of factors at play, but I would be really comfortable around these price levels as a buyer. And also, I think once the hard fork and tail emission is successful, I think I would be more comfortable accumulating Monero going forward. So yeah, a number of factors at play at the moment, I think.
I do feel like, obviously this is just anecdotal, but I do feel like there's more Monero talk going on right now on Twitter and everything. Obviously, I'm in my silo on there. Most of the people I follow are Monero related, but I'm seeing a lot more Monero than ever before. I think there was even one of those, like, what's that site that tracks the social relevance?
Oh, Lunar.
Lunar, yeah. I think Monero was the top
Lunar
on.
Crush.
Was like
Lunar Crush,
they highlighted it in a tweet 1 or 2 days ago as being blowing up on the socials. I do feel like Monero's getting a little attention right now.
That is true. That's quite true on YouTube in general. Like if you see on a month by month basis, the number of videos that have come up has increased. However, I would differ on the Twitter side of things because the number of tweets of Monero has not risen more than 300 per day. That could be that the quality tweets have increased. So quality tweets from people. So the 300 tweets that we get on a daily basis is like quality tweets as compared to like a year or two ago. But the number has not, unfortunately, increased as I see. There are some statistics available in, I think, bit info charts. If you see there for XMR for the tweets, I just saw that a couple of days back. So yeah, I think you were right. In general, social sentiment is improving around Monero. So I think that's something that's going to propel it going forward.
And what's different about Monero from other cryptos, I feel like, it's organic adoption, right? So it's not people just checking it out of speculation. It's they're learning and understanding what crypto is meant to be. They're these concepts of digital cash are starting to really, hit some people in the face when they see what happened with Luna, when they see what's going on, with Bitcoin and examples of its traceability. I do feel like eyes are being opened, and so it's going to be different. When Monero climbs, I think it's climbing. It's climbing for good. Obviously there's going to be ups and downs, but overall, Monero is not a pump and dump coin. So once it starts to grow, it's real sustainable growth that will stay. So it does feel like it's kind of about to take its next step up in terms of growth.
I think what Monero has been trying to do for a very long time is to find a price floor where it is comfortable at. I mean, if you see 3 years ago or 2 years ago, the price floor used to be $40 and $70, and people were still sellers at that time. But right now, it's like even if it goes to 130, I think we can see quite a good buying spree around those prices. So I think a $180 price level for Monero at this time is a very reasonable, floor, I would say.
Yep. All right, exciting stuff. Thank you so much, aFungible.
Yeah. Thank you. See you offline.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
All righty. So we have actually a special guest who will bring right on.
Surprise guest.
Surprise guest.
Yeah.
Special surprise.
We had 2 people lined up, but we have an emergency surprise guest that we need to
You're making it so dramatic.
Let's bring on.
The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. Hello, Midipoet. How's it going?
Good. How are you two?
Good, man.
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining us this morning over here.
Thank you for having me. I'm hurt though that I got demoted from a special to a surprise guest.
Well, you're a surprise. You're a surprise special.
Right.
That was him. That wasn't me.
No. My ego doesn't need any of the boost. I'll take it as a surprise guest. That's fine.
Hey, man, you want to quickly intro yourself? I think a lot of people on here, may not know you. And
yeah. Okay. My name is Midipoet, I guess, online on Reddit, IRC. I've been in the community for I guess, a few years now. So I originally started just out of interest and as a community member, and then I was in university at the time, and I started doing some research on privacy and blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, and then through that research, kind of just started weaving myself deeper into the community, started making some good friends in the community, and started just trying to get more involved in a lot of what the community was trying to do. And that led to kind of talking at a few events about Monero, and also helping out in the organizing of events, and just generally trying to keep in touch with the network as it was developing.
Yeah, and we met you, I think, at DEF CON.
We were talking about
the other
DEF CON
2019.
2019.
Or was it the year of 2018? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I was. Were you at both? Were you at 2018 and 2019? Or was 2019 your first year?
The first year we met you was the first year. So I think it was 19, and then we went 20, but you weren't there. That was a smaller one.
Yeah, that was because the pandemic
that was last year.
started.
I'm sorry, 21.
No,
last year.
We've been there 2 times or 3 times.
Yeah, so 2020 was cancelled, and then 21 was like a smaller one because
so we were there.
Yeah. We weren't at the 2018 one.
Yeah. So that was the 2018 one, was like the big party.
Yeah, that was the party. We read about it online. The party,
right?
The most amazing.
Yeah, I think so. So I think from what I remember, the 2018 was like one of the first events where a lot of the Monero community got together and met actually in person.
We went out there.
No, we missed that.
We missed that. Womp womp. But we met you in 2019, and it was awesome. I mean, that was a great time meeting.
No, it's great. Yeah, DEF CON is always great fun. It's always good to see people and kind of get lost in the hullabaloo of Las Vegas, and and just that conference in general. I mean, the amount of stuff that you learn at that conference, if you take the time to go around and listen to talks and ask interesting people, curious questions, it's great.
Yeah. So let's talk about Conferenco. So you're basically you've been the guy kind of managing that, right? Obviously, I know it's community based, but you kind of
chief cat herder or something.
Well, you're good at herding cats, because
no, to be honest, that's an insult to the people who are involved, because they're not cats at all. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. It is really community driven, and like the people, all of us really who've put effort into this are putting a lot of effort into it and trying to make it as really good as we can. So there's like a core kind of group, I guess, organizing committee, I suppose, all kind of quite old time Monero community members. And I'm just kind of like, just trying to spearhead as much as I can as possible.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be amazing. I mean, website's beautiful. You got the speakers. Have you listed all the speakers yet?
No, I think we've put out acceptance emails, I guess, to a lot of the people who would have proposed talks or abstracts, and so we're not going to put them up on the schedule until they've confirmed definite yes.
Okay.
Just because we didn't want to put up a whole schedule and then start removing people. We thought that would probably be a worse way of doing it, just in case if people have trouble booking flights or traveling, or whatever the reason may be, because we're probably a little bit late. I think the abstracts, we only made a decision last week, really, or finalized decisions. So,
and now it's 2 days, right? And the venue's like it's like outside and inside.
I think, to be honest, most of the event is going to hopefully be outside, weather permitting. We're going to cross our fingers on it. I think Portugal in June, or in Lisbon in June, certainly is supposed to be really quite beautiful. Lots of sun, very little rain, and long days and warm evenings.
Nice.
So the venue itself was recommended to us by a couple of friends of mine who are helping out with the project management of the whole event, and they know the event the venue owners quite well, and they recommended it because it's very community driven. It's very kind of got an underground ethos, which we sort of liked. And they have kind of strong principles themselves regarding sustainability and good morals, good ethics, that we thought we kind of aligned to. And we thought it was just kind of an interesting venue as well, right? It feels very underground.
Yeah. Looks beautiful, man.
Yeah. Looking at the website. Awesome website. I love the logo.
Yeah, the website, to be fair, I mean, all credit's got to go to AJS. Some of you probably know Reddit. Yeah, no, he's been amazing, to be honest. If there's anyone that deserves a proper shout out, it is him. because behind the scenes, he's been really the one turning a lot of the cogs. And a lot of this wouldn't have been possible without him. So big ups to him.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're super excited. Yeah, we'll definitely be there if things work out. Yeah, well.
Yeah, no. Hopefully we will. We will see you there. Yeah, you'll be. Hopefully you will.
We're
be
waiting,
there.
but
We'll be
you know,
there.
don't
And
want to
then,
make it official
yeah, we
yet.
want to do.
But we're trying to make our way there, right? So
As we were speaking to you last week, yeah, we want to interview as many people as we can. So after their talks, we could do a quick like Q&A with them. So we'll get all that out to everybody, which will be cool.
No, hopefully you will. I mean, I don't think a Monero event would be the same without you two, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's
thank
sweet.
you, man. Thank you.
Oh, we love that.
For
we
better
love,
or worse,
yeah.
we'll be there.
We love
whether you guys
helping
want us or
out. We
not.
love just
This
being
is
there.
it. But with community-driven projects, you always need community approval before you can put a stamp on everything. So we got to go through that process. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys sold out though, huh? There's no way you could make room for more.
Yeah, well, we're having discussions now about how to sell, how to make the most money with the remaining tickets on the black market. So I think that's no. The reason we capped, I tell you seriously though, we capped the capacity because there is still, of course, the kind of residual risk, or a bit more than residual risk, that it might rain. Okay. And if it does rain, the inside, it would be a lot more uncomfortable to have, whatever it is, 250 people inside than it would having 250 people spread across inside and outside, if you get me.
Yeah.
So we're just a little bit wary of that. So we capped tickets initially at 100 because we knew that we'd have also whatever it is, 25 to 30 speakers, and then of course sponsor tickets, and then of course volunteers on top of that. So in total, yeah, exactly, it adds up. So we're probably already up to kind of 150, and I think we need to have a discussion now in the next week or two about potentially releasing some more tickets, or just being a little bit risk averse and just keeping it topped at the 100 that we've sold.
Can you get a big like tent or something for the outside?
We could. We talked about it and we tried, but then you kind of lose a lot of the kind of open air nature of it, right? So I think at the moment we've got a lot of chairs, a lot of bean bags, a lot of kind of high chairs, and then a lot of parasols and umbrellas for the middle of the day when obviously it's going to be quite warm. And we want to also give people a bit of room to kind of move about, right? Because there's going to be food trucks, there's going to be a pizza oven. We'll hopefully have a DJ in the outside area. And we want people to be able to mingle and relax and chat, because it's kind of the first time, apart from at least Europe side, that people have got to get together.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, buddy. Anything else you want to mention with regards to it?
No, not really. I think if people want to get involved and help us out, we always welcome more hands on deck. So we meet on IRC and the Monero events channel every Saturday at 6 UTC, which is in a bit over 2 hours, I guess. And people are welcome to join in there, chat, get up to speed, and then we can, if you want to come to the conference, there's potential volunteer spots. We can give, you can help us out. We can kind of give you tasks or jobs to do over the 2 days. And we'd really appreciate it, because there's going to be a lot of kind of work to do over the 2 days when we're there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't know you still had volunteer. Yeah, guys, jump on that. You'll definitely have people jumping on that. I saw people posting on Reddit trying to get tickets.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's definitely a black market there. There's definitely a black market there. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's pretty cool. Exciting.
Anything else? Got anything?
That's it.
Okay.
I mean, that's about it.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time.
Last thing, live stream. It's going to be live streamed, right? We should say that. It's going
to yeah, we should. Yeah, so we're in the process of working all that out, but the plan is to live stream pretty much all the talks, and then potentially live stream, of course, some of your interviews as well. But I think we've just got to figure out some of the logistics of it. And we'll also have recordings of all the talks, and they'll be put up somewhere on some platform afterwards, probably the website. And I think our plan is initially, or at the moment, the proposed plan is to live stream to the website as well that you've put up, MoneroKon.com.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Let's hope that all works out.
Midi, thank you so much. We're going to keep moving because we had other people that were supposed to be our guests as well, but because it is you, we put you.
You are a special,
since you're
Special guest. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
surprise
thanks for-
special guest.
surprise
You
special
created a new
guest.
category.
Super special guest.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you two soon. I hope.
Yeah,
So
man.
too.
Can't wait to
Crossing our
chill in
fingers.
Portugal
Cool.
with you.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
Take care.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers.
Take
You
care.
too. Bye.
Cheerios. All right. So we'll bring our other awesome guests. Hold on. The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Well, it's really getting the
I-
money's
I
worth
know,
with
seriously.
all these special guests.
I know.
What's going on,
Hello.
guys?
We have WRS from India. And Monero.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
can.
got you. And we got
Okay, is the voice good?
Good, good. And then we also have Monero Portugal. Hello, hello. You're
oh, wait,
muted.
You're muted.
I'll unmute you. There you go. Now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
can
we
hear
got
you.
you.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good,
Thank-
man.
I know. I thought this was a good idea to have a little bit of the Portugal weather.
Yes,
Yeah,
I see
now,
it. We're
now we're
jealous.
definitely going
I
to
know.
MoneroKon. You look like you're chilling.
I
over
know.
there.
You're having a great time on your balcony or wherever you are.
It's not Lisbon. It's Algarve. It's in the south.
I've been there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
beautiful.
Somebody always talks about it.
Enjoy. I love it.
The weather. These days it's a little bit warmer than it should be, but I guess in June it's going to be even better. So we hope
Oh, I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
it's going to work out.
So yeah, we wanted to bring you guys both on at the same time because you guys are both hitting us up with similar typed comments with regards to, I guess, how to build out the Monero circular economy, how to get things going, what the community should be doing in terms of trying to grow Monero. WRS, you there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So what were some of the comments that you had? Let's get into it. Easier to chat live than to text back and forth.
Where do you want me to start?
You were making some comments about India and some ideas of maybe what should be happening over there with regards to Monero. How you think it's a good place for Monero to take hold, given
Yeah, I guess Sunita must know this. People love to stuff cash under their mattresses and in all kinds of places here. And India is a country of real gold bugs. I was one of them too. So
what is the
and
what is the disconnect there, or people just are not aware of crypto and Monero in particular? What needs to be done?
I think it's mostly skepticism, and it's too new for people now. I've been using Bitcoin since about 2013, and I haven't even heard of Monero until August 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, so so I think there's a lot of time for the rest of the people to catch up to it. But the thing with India is people need a lot of social proof. They need a bunch of relatives and friends telling them about it. And once you hit that inflection point of, getting from 0 to 1 is hard, but 1 to 100 is going to be exponential if it happens here.
So what do you think? Any ideas on what needs to be done to get the word out? How did you discover Monero in 2020?
So when suddenly everybody in the world was put under house arrest, I had a few questions about what the hell was happening. And since I was already used to Bitcoin, I started looking back into the market, and I didn't even realize that the halving events was what caused the price spikes. I realized that in March or April of 2020. And I was looking into what else I can do to get out of the system, basically,
Mhm.
And yeah, and I found Monero, and I think most Bitcoiners go through the same thing. I thought, yeah, I'll just hold on to my Bitcoin and my gold, and I'll use Monero whenever I need it, as a transactional thing.
Okay.
But over time, I've seen Dr. Daniel Kim's videos,
Hmm.
and that really got me thinking. I didn't realize the scarcity. I think that's a big issue too. People don't understand the tail emission.
Hmm.
I didn't understand it too in the beginning, and I thought, infinite supply versus limited supply. Like you said, Bitcoin, the 21 million thing, it's like Pokemon, you got to catch them all.
Yeah, they make it very simple, very memeable.
Yeah,
Mel.
yeah, I was stuck in that loop kind of thing too. So once I looked into Dr. Daniel Kim's work, I realized there's no reason for Bitcoin to even exist actually.
All right.
So
And now you're speaking our language. I like that.
I'm completely out of Bitcoin. I'm completely out of my gold. I'm totally into Monero now.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think the fair value of Monero today should be 2 million per coin.
Wow. That you're even more of a maxi than I am. Jeez.
Oh yeah. There's this report that came out in Reuters in 2012, 10 years ago,
Hmm.
that the total wealth in offshore accounts was at around $32 trillion.
Hmm.
So even if you lowball it 10 years later and place it at 40 trillion now, and put the total supply of Monero at 20 million over the next decade, that gives you a $2 million per coin price.
Yeah. No. I think that is a good way of looking at it. That's one very easy way of looking at the potential growth of Monero.
Yeah, and according to me, that's just the start of it.
Mhm. Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. So, what do you think? In India needs to be done to help get the word out? Are there resources?
It's
Are there
kind of this paradox, adoption is what's going to make the price go up, but the price going up is what's going to get the attention and accelerate the adoption.
yeah.
So
Are there good resources? Like, are there any YouTube channels that people are watching over there in India that's like Monero first? Are
I
there
don't
good
I
websites?
don't think there's any Monero specific content for India, but I think just YouTube is a good place.
Hmm.
And I think the best resource would be for the price to just pump hard.
Actually, when you Google Monero or YouTube Google Monero, one of the most popular videos of all time that pops up is a video from India of a song.
Really? Which one is it?
Of a song, no,
OMG.
completely unrelated to the currency, but same name, Monero, spelled the same way.
Oh, what the hell?
It's really
We
funny.
actually, I had
Even tried my
Sunita's dad
dad
do some
translate
research
it.
on translating. Maybe we were thinking maybe there's some overlap there. We could contact this group and get them
It's a
to
funny video.
do a
that's,
Monero
that's
rendition of
funny.
it. And
Even I haven't found that video. I never saw it.
it has like millions of
millions of
views.
views. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh wow.
So maybe we get to put out a
Pretty
second
bizarre.
song that's actually
Oh my
about
God. Tail
Monero,
Emission.
Monero the crypto. Is
Yeah.
one thought. We're gonna jump over to Monero-Pt because you're just waiting so patiently over there. Hey man, you wanna chime in here and I guess
Sure,
give us
sure.
your
You know, I
Portugal
just not sure the person that was it before is the one that is organizing the Conferenco.
Yeah,
Yes.
Midipoet. Yep.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to contact them and it's not being. I'm sure they have a lot of work, but I'm trying to contact them and still I still can't.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't maybe if he was talking about something like in 2 hours. I don't know if
Yeah,
a link
there's
for
Yeah,
it.
I see.
they're having their meeting, so you can jump in that. It's on
Yeah,
IRC.
maybe it's a good idea. Yeah, but where can I find it?
Can you post it in the notes?
I don't know where the art. I mean, I see that there's a MoneroKon 2022 on Telegram. I can
Yeah,
try
on
to I'll
yeah,
post that.
yeah, it's
and
the same
then,
thing. It's
Oh,
bridged
it's the
over.
same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There you go.
So the Telegram group.
Okay.
It's
she'll
just
send you the-
literally Telegram MoneroKon. So that's
Okay, MoneroKon.
I'll
Okay,
send it to
with
you.
a K.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
with
they're
the
having
K.
a planning event, I think, in an hour or so, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess tell us your Monero story if you have one.
So no, just to start. My name is Paulo, and so I started with Monero. I'm Portuguese. I started with Monero, I guess like 2 years ago, when I first discovered, and I was like, I think like everybody else, I was a little bit astonished because I always thought that Bitcoin was private, right? Because you hear all these stories about. Not that I knew a lot about it, but I knew the stories about the .NET markets. So I really thought, how is it possible that Bitcoin is not private? I mean, what are they doing there? If it's and it made sense because it's a public blockchain, so it really made sense. We can see the transactions online. But I kind of didn't connect the dots. So when I first heard, I was like, well, this makes sense, but let me try to understand it better. And it's a thing. Still today, people use Bitcoin in .NET markets, which is something that I really can't understand, despite the growing of Monero in the last years. So since then I was really very interested, and today it's not that I have nothing against Bitcoin. I think there's space for many currencies. There's not a problem with that. But for me personally, I'm kind of afraid of what Bitcoin, the fundamentals of Bitcoin. I think maybe I'm repeating a lot of things that people normally say here, but the market keeps growing for Bitcoin, and there's more investment. So that's a good sign for Bitcoin. But if you look at the fundamentals, there's really, it seems like there's really not much thing. If you compare to Monero, if you don't have Monero, then maybe Bitcoin could be a solution, but it doesn't seem right. And I don't want to scare anyone, but it does seem like because we all know the max cap is something that it's not good. Gold has been inflationary since ever. And gold is God's money, and it always worked. We didn't have anything better, but it always worked. We are still mining gold as of today, so it always been inflationary. And all the other things, it's not a cash. It's never going to be a cash. It's not going to replace the paper money. The thing is the max cap is this. When we reach, and maybe if in the news, maybe tomorrow in the news they talk about this, and this is like, if this happens, it's not going to be very good for the market, because if tomorrow there's like a big news of that Bitcoin eventually one day the miners will just sustain their business out of fees, we all know that's not going to be possible. Even today they complain, and today they still can mine coins, new coins. There's too many red flags for Bitcoin, in my opinion. So Monero kind of, the transparency in Bitcoin, it has the good things and the bad things, because of course, the bad things is, in terms of privacy, if you want to use it as cash, if you want to be if you want your financial holdings to be private, then maybe it's better to use something else. But the transparency is good for depends where it's used. But if governments are going to use it, if ONGs, these kind of organizations, then it's probably a good thing. I'm not sure if Monero couldn't be doing the same job, but I mean, it's not the worst thing in that aspect. But then you have the fungibility problems. You have the tainted coins. I mean, it's not a good idea from some exchanges to transfer from them to other exchanges. You transfer Bitcoin and you can get in trouble because I'm not sure what really happens, but I think they don't let. If you can correct me, I think they don't let the coins go through, right?
If you're trying to do what? What are you saying?
If you try to transfer, from some exchanges, I'm thinking about, for example, TradeDogger. If you try to transfer some Bitcoin from there and it's like tainted coins.
Yeah, it could be possible the exchange won't let you, move your coins onto theirs, things like that. Yeah.
But what do they do? Like they ask questions.
They'll ask questions. Yeah, they won't, and I guess they won't let you use their service.
But they ban you or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's these problems with Bitcoin that Monero solves, and actually something that is a little funny. Depends on the perspective. It's that there's a lot of people on the Bitcoin space that they are quite aggressive against altcoins, against Monero as well.
Yeah.
And they forget that Monero it's actually something.
Oh
no,
we've lost you. You froze.
In Algarve,
the service.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Go back to WRS.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Hello. Or I guess maybe move on to the news segment too.
All right, let's quickly do news segment. So if you guys could hear us.
Hello.
Monero-Pt. You back?
Connection.
Yeah, want to finish up your thought?
I'm back. Yeah, I was just saying, because Monero is a friend of Bitcoin, and Monero is actually something that in my opinion, it holds the Bitcoin market still, because if it wasn't for these kind of technologies, Monero Bitcoin would struggle more, because in these situations where with the tainted coins and there will be much more difficulty for people to use it as cash, that they are not using it, but still it would be much more difficult. So they are going against something that in reality it's their friend.
Yeah.
So
we haven't gotten to that point yet. Most feel threatened by it, but now we are seeing a group of Bitcoin people that are becoming Monero curious and Monero friendly. It starts by them saying, "Oh well, Monero, we don't dislike Monero. If anything, it's a good tool to use when you need to use it." So that's where most Bitcoiners are currently at with regards to Monero. Or not, I wouldn't say most Bitcoiners, but there's a sector of Bitcoiners that are Monero curious and saying, we like Monero. It's a good tool for freedom and liberty, and just use it when you need it, which is fine. And I think will then lead them to
because it's what makes sense.
Might as well always
use what makes sense.
Yeah,
it's what makes sense. They if I mean, there's a lot of people on crypto Twitter that sometimes I'm not sure if they the opinion they give to the followers are, sometimes they 100% agree with the opinion. But the thing is, if you go against something like Monero, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. In my opinion, I think what are you gaining with that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just a fear. People are just so greedy. They have their bags and they just see it as a threat. So they see it as a threat to their the value they hold. That's really what it comes down to. But you had when you reached out, you were saying you reached out to us. You're saying, why are with the tipping and stuff, why aren't we going after the client?
Business
Or
owners.
you were saying?
The business owners.
Yeah, what was the
versus
point that you're
Yeah,
trying to make about?
leaders.
we're speaking yesterday. I the thing that's it's what you are doing. Let me just say, I really appreciate what you're doing. You are, you have the patience to do it. You are spending your money, your precious Monero, and I thank you for that. But my point, and it's not like it's specific. I think in the crypto, in the Monero community space, I guess, there's this kind of thinking, which is we need to go for the common person to use Monero. And I really don't think that's the way. I think what we should try to do. I tried myself, and it's very difficult. But I think what we should try to do is to go after the people that really pay taxes. The people that really have businesses, the people that really care. They care more about their financial privacy. So so I think, like, I've seen a lot of business in Portugal that they accept this kind of payments, which is MBWay. MBWay it's an app where it's connected to a bank, but I think that in these places they use it so so the client pays to them, and then it doesn't go to the company's to the company's account. It goes to a personal account. But I'm really not sure of and everyone that has a business. Businesses are about secrets. Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear.
We hear you. It's jumping in and out a little bit, but we hear you.
Hello?
So
Hello?
you're saying try to
Yeah.
onboard the businesses and get them to accept Monero. And obviously can.
Yeah, because I think it's in their interest. I the only thing that I don't understand, it's what I was asking, and probably better than me, is why are we so focused on that's what I say, the client. Why are we so focused on the common people, like myself, instead of people that actually own businesses, people that actually could not force but incentivize the customers to use Monero. They could make a discount, or they could incentivize the customers to use Monero. And normally businesses have always, or most of the businesses have a lot of repeating clients, so it's people that go there usually.
Yeah, no, I don't
So
think anybody's not focused on that. It's just easier to just in your day to day to talk, as you talk to people. But yeah, obviously the goal is to, I'd much rather get a business accepting Monero than get, hooking up a waiter with the tip 100%. But it's a no-brainer. There's a lot less friction there. You're going to be giving somebody
it's much
free money, and you're just saying, are you willing to accept it in this form? And like, you can get them to do it on the spot. Getting a restaurant to accept Monero is a whole nother process, which needs to be done. Like, I got a pizza shop to accept Monero for the pizza that I was buying, on the spot. But now, is it integrated into their, their, what is it called? Their payment system? No, it's it takes a little work to do that. I think that's really where the holdup is. Small businesses not really knowing how to seamlessly integrate it into their payment systems. Obviously, they could just download Cake Wallet, and they can take Monero transactions on the side, and they could just note it. I tell them they can just note it in their payment management system as a cash transaction or as an other, right? And just keep note. So then when they settle up at the end of the day, they'll know how many transactions. But that requires a little work. And then the thing is, once they do set up, it's like, you explained all this, maybe you bought the pizza that day from them. But then that's it, right? It's not like, they're getting 10 people a day after that coming in being like, I want to get that, with Monero. Like if that demand is there, then sure, they'll be like, all right. But it's like they put a sticker up in the window, they say I accept crypto, and then nobody comes and uses crypto. And it's like the day somebody does come, like the person already forgot how to
but
use
that's
it.
because they don't incentivize. If they don't want. I think this is like a human thing, I guess, which is it's always very difficult for you to make changes. So any human is like that. So well, am I going to make that change? But my question is, if you have incentives to do that, and I'm talking about the business owners, if they have incentive to do that, why are they not doing that? It's the only thing that really, because in Portugal people are doing what I just told. I'm not sure if in the US it's that easy. Maybe probably it's a little harder. But still, if you have something, to gain with that, why are people not doing it? It's in Portugal, I can give you the examples that why they are not doing it. Because at the end of the day, there's no, people are kind of accepting this app, and they, the clients transfer to their personal accounts, and for some reason that I don't know, they seem to be continue to doing it. I think it's not like because it's completely it's within the banking system. I'm not sure if it's possible to cross the information. I'm pretty sure it's possible. So I really don't understand. Maybe when these things start to happen, which is the people, the business owners that are accepting MBNet, MBWay to their personal accounts, when they start to have problems with that, maybe they will try to search for something else, because as long as people also don't have problems,
I mean, there has to be a real push for them to do it, right? So there has to be some real incentive, like they're going to get additional customers, or like you said, they're going to be able to treat it like cash. So that gives them some liberty there. Obviously, there's a lot of cash businesses in New York, for example. And I dream of being able to onboard all these people to Monero, obviously, and slowly we'll start to do it. And I think maybe part of the trick is coming up with a good early adopter businesses that would really make sense. It would really make sense for. So maybe like we have a lot of businesses that do the cash to gold around here. I'm going to start talking to some of these guys. So those are the businesses where you go in and sell your gold for cash, or I guess you could go in with cash and buy gold, I think, as well. They could be, obviously you run into issues with money services laws, but any business is allowed to accept crypto for their services. So there might be some kind of means of them accepting Monero, maybe even for the purchasing of gold. Like that could be a good, right? Because now there's a real demand there. There's alignment there between the customers that are already coming in. These are people that are already understand the values of gold and cash. That's an example. There's a lot of marijuana businesses popping up now in New York City. It's still kind of a gray area. They legalized it.
But let me ask.
I just want to say that's another great example, because these businesses have to all be cash because of federal laws. So they're not even allowed to use credit card systems. Another example of people that may actually find a real benefit with accepting something like Monero, which is cash-like. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask, but those businesses, I guess it's easier. But the normal businesses that you, how is it in the US? So people are starting to not use paper cash. So it's basically, I guess, everything is credit cards. I guess maybe there's some kind of apps like we have in Portugal, but I don't think so. I think people are just using mostly credit cards. So businesses are the only method they are accepting at the moment. Mostly, like the great majority is credit cards, right?
Yeah, most of them accept credit cards, but there are still a lot of businesses that prefer cash. Not a lot, but there are well-known restaurants, businesses that would prefer, like it's known, like when you go to this place, you should probably bring cash because they prefer cash. they're not, they're the minority. Most are all purely credit card. But that's then where Monero comes in, right? Because now you're bringing cash back to them, the effects of cash, while allowing your customers to still transfer digitally, where they get the convenience of a digital transaction.
One thing that I talked to Vic, in private message about Cake Wallet was, the possibility of integrating some kind of function where you could automatically, if you want, automatically convert Monero into I don't know, USDT or some kind of stable. I think Cake Wallet offers USDT, and I'm not sure if USDC. If there was like a possibility for that, I think it would also help, because the people so far, because it's still a new market, people also are afraid of the volatility, right? So today you receive something, and tomorrow it's a different it's a different price in US dollar terms. So that's kind of a struggle as well for people to to start really accepting. But if there was like a wallet that could do that, that would also, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but like an automatic conversion as soon as you receive it, maybe it would also help in those cases. I just don't understand why, the business owners are not accepting so far. Still, even without that, I still don't understand.
It just takes time, man. It can't be by mandate. It has to come out of a real economic need. There needs to be people running businesses don't do things unless it's going to make them more money. And so there really needs to be, I'm not saying there aren't benefits with using Monero and Cash, but it needs to be overwhelming to the point where it overcomes the inertia of what they do on their day-to-day, and they're willing to do that. And I just don't think we have really truly gotten there yet with crypto in general. Monero,
in general,
Monero is going to beat, in my mind, all the others, because there's gonna be a real reason to want to accept Monero because of its cash-like properties. And that's why I'm always so bullish about Monero, because it really does fulfill this niche, and it makes sense for people to go out of their way, especially even initially when it's a little harder to use Monero, because you're getting all these benefits. Like to go and accept Bitcoin at your store actually doesn't really make any sense, right? It's like, what are you benefiting from?
Yeah.
There's really no benefit there, because then you have the trace. So the customer isn't getting any privacy with the transaction. The store isn't getting any privacy with the transaction. It's not cash-like, and then you still have the downside of the volatility. Bitcoin is still as volatile as Monero, so there's really no upside. And then the customers don't want to actively spend their Bitcoin, because they've been trained to not think of it in terms of being cash. They've been trained to think of it in terms of digital gold, so they don't even have the incentive to go send it. Monero, if anything, is going to start to, I believe, really feed into this use. We're seeing it. Obviously, we always talk about the dark markets, right? That's where it's naturally occurring, and you're seeing organic adoption. People aren't doing it because they love Monero. They're doing it because it makes sense for them to use. And so I think we'll just start to see that in the ClearNet as well. It will start to make sense to sell products for Monero for various reasons. It's just going to take time, but very good points. I think we should move, because we're already well over an hour here.
Let me just add just something very quickly. Because I think the biggest market for Monero, it's not even any of these that we just talked about. The biggest market of Monero is for, it's going to be used for sure, if not is already being used. And we are seeing some strange movements since the war began. I don't know, around that time. And in my opinion, the biggest market for Monero, it's going to be related to this kind of value that is somehow that wants to remain private, and even related to fiscal, offshore accounts and people that want. I know it's not like it's illegal money, but it's money that people just don't want it to go through the banking system, because every time you make a large transaction, it sounds various alarms. So someone that works at the bank will know about this transaction. So I think that at the moment, and will be, I think, what's going to happen in the short term, it's going to be this kind of markets, and this is like why I'm almost 100% in Monero, because I really believe that this kind of market, it's going to be the big push for Monero, because as soon as this money understands that it's the best way for it to make transfers all across the world. And they don't even need it to be quickly. They don't even need it. They just want to transfer anonymously. And there's, in that aspect and in that point, there's no better thing, at least at the moment. There's no better thing than Monero.
Yep. I think that's the point WRS was making. And his back of the napkin math leads to $2 million in Monero if you're gonna replace offshore banking and essentially Swiss bank accounts, things like that. With Monero, becomes a safe haven where people can store their wealth and transfer their wealth with unbeknownst to any government or corporation. Let's we just got to keep moving because we got a lot in store today, but stay with us because then we do the on stage portion. So if you could stay up here, WRS, stay with us. We're gonna just quickly do the news and we'll be right back. We'll make the news super short.
And now for our weekly news segment.
Alrighty.
Loads.
aFungible, when we met him, that was his one comment. He's like, the shows are a little long.
On the longer side, yeah. All right.
But that's the format of the show. I think that's fine. This is the type of show if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Whoa. We already spoke about this.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
See, we're moving fast now, guys.
Wow, look at
that. Somebody put up a Reddit post. Who was this? Help test. Let me pull it up. Help test the upcoming major Monero release for bugs. So this is if you guys are interested, people are saying, how can I help? Here's one way. If you're a little bit technical, if you know how to, use the client, go ahead and help test out the latest version of Monero, the Fluorine Fermi. So it's going to be launched on testnet on June 16th, so a week after Tail Emission ends. That's exciting. And big news with this. I mean, I don't think we've talked about it enough on this show. So it's going to be a mandatory ring size increase to 16. So that's going to improve privacy. We're going to go from bulletproofs to bulletproof plus. So that's going to reduce the transaction sizes. Then they're adding view tags, which is amazing. Thanks to Co. That's going to significantly reduce wallet sync times. So that's tremendous. And I think I saw numbers of like 40% reduction. So, when you're using your Cake wallet now and you open it up, it's going to load that much faster. That's amazing. Block weight algorithm adjustments, prove network security. Somebody just in the comments was asking, hey, does Monero ever make changes to improve its security? Well, yeah, it does all the time. Well, I shouldn't say all the time, but every year or so, or it used to be every 6 months. Monero is different than Bitcoin in that regard. We're always trying to improve and stay on top of things so we can remain as the best form of digital cash. So it's a good post. Check it out. And if you want to help out, be a tester. Test the new software before it launches. Once again, view tags. So what was the very good post that Seth put up that explains view tags. So like I was saying, effectively, we're going to see a 40% reduction in scan time of the blockchain, but Seth goes into great detail as to why that's the case. And he gives some really good explanation that that can help people understand in simple terms why view tags are going to work in that manner, and why it takes so long for the Monero blockchain to essentially, or for wallets to function in the first place. Anybody that uses Monero on the daily with Cake, I mean, it's as convenient as can be. But unlike, something like Bitcoin, it does take longer for it to scan and upload. And Seth goes into reasons why, and he explains in nice terms as to why view tags is going to help solve that problem. So I recommend you checking out that post. He gives a good analogy. Go check it out. Also related, Co is looking to raise more funds for his work on Monero. He looks like this one he was asking for 155 XMR is only up to 126. Definitely, contribute if you can. Any little bit helps. I'm sure he'll get there in no time. But let's get him going. Co is fundamental to Monero at this point. The contributions that he made is tremendous. Like we were just saying, view tags. I mean, that was his invention. He's working on Seraphis. He's the guy that's implementing it. And now, so he's looking for funds to create a proof of concept wallet that's going to show everything that Seraphis can do. So super exciting that Co is always pushing ahead. And I recommend you send him some funds if you can, so we get to that number faster. Ways to help. I thought this was a good post. Somebody put up a post on ways to help Monero. Really basic stuff. Mine it, run a full node, spread the word, ask your local merchants to accept Monero. So all the things that we talk about all the time in the show. But it's check it out if you're somebody out there saying, what could I do? So rather than just like going on Twitter and tweeting about it, which is also helpful, gets the word out. That is, I don't want to poo-poo that. Definitely keep doing that. But there's a lot of other things you can do. Mining Monero, running full node. When you do mine Monero, use P2 pool. We always talk about that on the show. We were having an issue with some of the mining pools gaining too much power again, even though P2 pool already exists and is a solution to that. Now P2 pool has been built into the GUI, so you could very easily get it up and running. And essentially anybody running the Monero client can very easily mine Monero to P2 pool in a few clicks of a button. And with that advent, I think we've seen a sharp increase in the amount of people mining on P2 pool. I think it went from like 300 to 1,000. So that's exciting to see. But anyway, check out this post if you're looking for ways and trying to figure out what you can do to help Monero. It's a nice little list there. And I thought this was a nice little tweet. According to Peter Schiff, it's only a matter of time before government introduces price controls and people will not be able to buy goods in stores as a result. When that happens, the black markets will boom. The reserve currency of the black market is not gold, it's Monero. So related to what I was talking about with Monero PR, people will use Monero when they have a real need to use it. Currently, that's mostly on the dark market, which I prefer calling, free and open markets. And I think those free and open markets are going to kind of become more of a mainstream thing. People are going to be accessing them because they're going to need to. Unfortunately, as we're seeing things trend towards more tyranny in all parts of the world, and Monero is a tool that's going to help people regain their liberty, and that combined with open markets, it's going to become a place where people can freely act in commerce. Maybe they can buy, local organic meat without being stopped or censored. Anyway, I don't know if things ever get that dystopian, but the point is,
what is the point?
We're going to see Monero really, really blossom when the use cases of the black market or open markets become more mainstream, and Monero is by far the best tool to use for those purposes, and it's outshining all of the cryptos. It has first mover advantage, and it's going to own that. It owns that space and will only continue to do so and improve as more people adopt it for those purposes. And that is our news for the week.
That is it. I guess let's move on to the viewers on stage.
Get them up.
Okay, calm down. It's the Viewers on Stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down. Hello, dMartian.
All right.
How do you do?
dMartian, we still have WRS.
I'm doing well.
What's going on, man?
Oh, I've been listening to this whole thing, and it's been an excellent episode. I love the guests. I love the commentary. It's been fantastic. And I'm here to talk about the good and the bad and the ugly.
What do you got? Give us the bad first.
Okay, the bad news was, and it's really not that bad, but it's kind of a good thing. Is part of my trying to spread Monero. It was the perfect opportunity. I went to this cool, trendy place, and it had QR codes on each table, and you could scan that QR code, and then you could plug in what you want to order, and then they bring it to you. And I was out on a date with this girl that was not anti, but just like skeptical of cryptocurrencies in general. It's like particularly Bitcoin. I'm like, no, it's not Bitcoin. But anyways, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity because you could create a subaddress for each table. Like we were table 14. So I showed her. I'm like, come on, create your Monero address and have your just set it up, and I could show you, like, because we actually tried to order that way, and it was just annoying. You had to create a login, this and that. There's some account. Somebody wants to do something. You don't need to do any of that with Monero. You could just create a subaddress for each table, 14 in this instance, and I showed it. I put it on her thing, and I was gonna be like, watch this. Like, if you just say, like, here's what I'm ordering, and then like they could all be somewhat similar dollar amounts, and then the last few digits be a code for the actual item you're ordering. Yeah. So I'm like, it's all set up. It's perfect. I'm gonna show her how this works. And it didn't work out so well for me. I was like, no, sorry, I think my internet connection's bad, like this and that, and like I had to like close the wallet out, force quality, and I'm like, it's gonna be so quick. It was gonna be so cool. And she was like looking at her phone, ready to see that pending transaction come through. I had all explained, and it was gonna work out great. I had to restart my phone before I could get the wallet to sync, which I had sunk, like I had it synced like a few minutes earlier, but. Yeah, so at any rate, I failed in that regard, but it's something that can be improved upon.
With regards to the date, I mean, are you still talking to this girl? Was that it?
No, it didn't kill it. She still got her Monero. So there's opportunity for it to come back.
We hung out after that. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. No, I recommend talking about Monero. Going on and on about Monero with every date. That's how you know that you're passionate about something.
You didn't scare her away.
No, but I love the idea, and good point. So we're gonna need things to work pretty seamlessly if we want them to actually work. But right. I'd love to see ideas like that. I don't know. I think we just need to start our own like bar, restaurant, cafe. We've been talking about it, but I feel like the only way we'll really get these things going is if we do it ourselves, and then everybody else can catch on.
And then it'll happen. So the good part, I was in Manhattan, like last weekend, and I was talking to people, and people have been a little bit skeptical about like, hey, what if we had an event in New York City? I went to New York City, and I was sitting down with strangers. I was talking to them just about random things. Suddenly, the conversation evolved, and it went to the inevitable Monero, and I had people from New York City, and some of them were looking at me, just like I'm not even sure some of them were blinking. They were looking at me so directly, like they're just like just watching every word I said. They were just so into the conversation that I was having with this guy next to me named Jim, and he was like, he actually basically understood like the concepts in general. But we were kind of talking through it, and it was just this idea, this like revelation that like, hey, we're in Manhattan and we're talking about this stuff now. This is a start. This is happening. And even if all we're doing is sitting in a bar and just like, we're all like starting to realize these things about money and how things ought to work and how the corporations suck and the banks suck. And we have these other options. Like we're already changing the narrative in New York City by default, as inherently so. Now, so what's next? Now we're talking about what's next. That's what an event could do. And that's great. I'm so happy to have been there for that.
Monerotopia, New York City, Freedom Fest. We're thinking.
Yeah. So where could it go? What's the best thing that could happen out of that?
I mean, I think the best thing that happens out of that is we attract people that are just interested in these ideas of free speech. Obviously, everybody's talking about free speech now. We talked about this the other day. With what Elon's doing with Twitter, we get all these people, these New Yorkers that feel like tyranny is growing here, and we bring them to a freedom fest, and they learn that Monero is one of the tools that they can use to help preserve their freedom. Best thing that happens is we grow Monero, man. We get people learning about Monero in New York. We get people using Monero. We'll get Monero accepting vendors. We basically did what we did with Monerotopia, but we do it in New York, in an area where people may not already be, BTC maxis.
They might be averse to it. So here's something for WRS. I've got a little knowledge of people in India, and when I think about like what you're talking about, you're saying like people need to see go up, but also I'm aware that like when you buy a house in India, you might be paying a certain price, but you're really paying a different price because you don't want to pay the taxes, so you'll pay the price on paper. And that'll be what's the legal way, and then but really we're working a back door. I think those like avenues are already kind of in place for parallel economies. So I wanted to ask, like just seeing things, and when I say the ugly, I think the ugly is the dystopia that exists around us with fiat. And I think the way to get us towards a logical conclusion is to push the envelope, keep pushing the dial, just keep pushing it. So that embrace crypto in general, because when people start doing so, they will start seeing where's the problems. We got a new issue. Hey, and that's when Monero needs to be. That's when you get to the bad in the beginning. Monero needs to be ready for its own success, so that when the bad happens, the ugly happens, you're like, wow, all these other things are failing. This other thing's working, and when it works, suddenly pop. So I'm curious, WRS, what do you think about like a parallel economy in India? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about with real estate, and are you at all apprised of a way that we could get into that that kind of mentality that already exists in India, but utilizing a different kind of currency?
I'll unmute you, I guess. Hello?
There's
WRS?
Yeah, dMartian, I get what you're saying exactly. That's what I meant when I said, going from 0 to 1 is hard, but the 1 to 100 is going to happen really fast, because the parallel economy is, I don't think it's thriving better anywhere else in the world other than India. And the thing with the real estate thing now is governments have, they put in this new rule where they've kind of fixed the prices of the properties, and they have this fair government value of everything, which has gone up over the years. It used to be about 10% of what the actual market price was. Now it's about 50 to 60% of the market price, and that 50 to 60%, it has to happen on the system. They call it white and black here.
Right. So do you think that they are pressing people towards other solutions like Monero by implementing these crackdowns?
I think Monero is quite a bit away, but it mostly happens in cash. Over the last 2 years, people are realizing that the cash is melting away really fast. So people are looking for alternatives, and I think Monero is well positioned to take over.
WRS, wasn't it like a year or so ago that the Indian government actually started banning, or not banning, but getting rid of certain cash bills, right? Didn't they get rid of some of the larger denominations?
Yeah, it was in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of the 500 and the 1,000 rupee note, and they introduced the new 500 and the 2,000 rupee note. But the idea of banning the notes was to get everyone into the system, because the parallel economy dMartian is talking about, that was like 95% of the entire economy, I guess. It was all cash based.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to get all that cash into the system, and they have this system called the Aadhaar. It is the largest biometric database in the world. They have everyone ID'd with 10 fingerprints and an iris scan. And that's connected to your bank account. And now they have this thing called a UPI. It's a Unified Payments Interface, where if I go outside and there's someone selling bananas on the roadside on a push cart, and not even a push cart, maybe they just have it laying on the road, but they have this QR code and you can pay them digitally with fiat, and it's 0 fees and it's instant.
Now, but what is the general culture? I know you said people were accustomed to using cash, but like, do people fear this concept of governments, being able
Oh
to
yeah.
surveil?
I mean, they don't. I don't think people have gotten up to the level of understanding that the government is an adversary. But people like their money. They like to keep their money.
But it's not at the point yet where people are concerned that governments may be surveilling their transactions. They
Oh yeah, they are concerned, and most of the large transactions still happen in cash. And another thing is, the Indian government tried to ban crypto twice, and they tried a third time recently this year, or it was last year, I guess. They realized they can't ban it, so they came out with this capital gains tax, and they've classified all the cryptos as assets now, which I think is a good thing. And most people are looking for permission from the government, and this is the permission, I guess. And
you think
I think, oh yeah, because I think encouraging holders is a good thing. I think the Monero community disagrees.
Well, yeah, because it hurts the ability to use it as cash, right? Aren't you concerned about
that? But why? I mean, that's the thing with good money, right? It's whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be a medium of exchange, it does it. If you want it to be a store of value, it does it.
No. But if you're punishing people for using it for transactions, it's gonna slow down the adoption for those purposes. So you're adding friction.
Oh no, I'm saying what the government did now, it actually incentivizes hoarding.
Right. I'm saying, but that's bad for transacting, right?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, who's going to know if you're transacting, and who's going to stop you if you want to transact?
All right. Yeah. So it might hurt Bitcoin, but it wouldn't hurt Monero as much because people may not. Well, they won't hesitate to use it for those purposes.
Yeah.
But let me introduce to you a new idea, and it's a tandem idea. Let's say that instead of relying on corporations to build your wealth over time for retirement and this and that, you could instead rely upon an economy that you believe in. And therefore, you want to set aside some. You want to hold some Monero because then it'll gain over time and it'll be commensurate with living expenses. But at the same time, that'll only be true if you spend your Monero, if you participate in the economy. You could be someone that sits on the outside and lets everybody else do the work, but there's a certain teamwork kind of mentality that needs to come into it. Like, we all need to get into this, or else you let the people make us like pharaohs and slaves again, like as humans have done over and over again. This is our chance to say, hey, we have a chance to work together to cooperatively in a way that works for yourself, but also works for others. That's new. That's a gift to us through this technology, and that could make it so that you can hold, but it only matters if you spend. And if you spend, that's great in itself, and that helps your holding.
I think it comes down to personal time preference. I think most Indians have a low time preference. People like to save for their children's weddings, and they plan 20 years ahead. So eventually they are going to spend it. It's just about when they're going to spend it.
Do they think the Indian fiat currency right now is a good way to store value?
No. It's all gold now.
Gold? Wow.
Oh yeah, people. Indian housewives are the biggest holders of gold in the world. They have more than the U.S. government has, I guess.
I believe that. I do.
I mean, there are actual statistics backing this up.
Makes sense.
That's our target market, Indian housewives.
Oh yeah,
now I know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just doesn't have that bling though, It doesn't look as nice.
Yeah, they love their jewelry.
They keep their bling hidden.
Keeps it hidden.
Yeah, they have it hidden. They like to flaunt it and all kinds,
It's pretty.
Well, I put a Monero private key on Sunita's engagement ring, so we're trying,
Oh wow,
trying to make headway there. You know, get
that's
that,
nice.
get that
Needed to
display.
talk to my dad before the interview, and you should have put it on the gold. It's
All right, I
hilarious.
saw somebody was asking some questions in the chat. Hey man, jump up if you have some questions. Who was the guy who was asking all the questions? It was scroll up. I don't know. I lost the questions now.
So before I shut up, I got one thing I got to ask you. Is so before you went up to Heisenberg with that mystery bag, was part of your considerations giving Heisenberg the face of Monero, given its already reputation with drug trade?
I was hoping to get there, yeah, but we didn't have a moment. You know, I had like a 15-second pitch, but yeah, I would have certainly taken him down that road.
That was really funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a good story.
a Monero logo on the Dos Hombres, tequila would be quite appropriate. Yeah,
Quite appropriate.
I think once they understood Monero, I feel like they would just have to be on board.
I know. We have to continue to
Yeah.
stalk them via email.
Yeah.
Or we gotta
Registration account is the name. Hey man, jump up if you have questions. I see you're asking quite a few. You're asking, I'm interested in becoming a Monero investor, but I'm concerned about governments influencing exchanges not to allow it. Yeah, I mean, if that's an indication of Monero working, right? So if you're not concerned about your crypto potentially being regulated by a government or trying to stop it, or that means your crypto probably doesn't work as intended. So there really shouldn't be concern about governments doing this. The whole purpose of crypto is to be able to use it outside of the control of any government or corporation. So it may be maybe more of a slower growth because of that, because there aren't as many on-ramps from the fiat world. But ultimately, it's the right place to be because that's how crypto is meant to be used. So that'd be my answer to that. But yeah, if you want to jump up and ask any more questions, please do. And there are plenty of places where you can get Monero today on exchanges. It's not as easy as some of the other cryptos. But maybe we'll start to see that surprisingly swing back the other way. We'll see Monero get listed. But in the meantime, Monero is building an ecosystem that does not rely on this, centralized exchanges. We have things like atomic swaps. We have Havino that's being built out, which will essentially be a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange. So all those things will allow us to essentially ignore these centralized exchanges and not have to ask for their permission to use Monero or obtain Monero. Guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here because we've
hour and 47 minutes.
way over what we normally do, and I don't know if we're gonna shorten them moving forward or keep them long. I think
we see how
I think this format's good. It's this is supposed to be
leave it open to the community to chat.
It's a community show. That's what it's about. So we'll probably continue with this format. So if the show's too long for you, just jump in and watch the parts that you like.
Or look at the timestamps when we put them up.
Yeah.
And, fast forward.
Yeah, you just watch the price report, whatever you need to do. Thank you
Thank
so much, WRS. Thank you, Monero-Pt.
We really appreciate your time. Thank you. Oh, wait, you're muted. I'll unmute you. What'd you say, Monero?
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.
All right.
And continue the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate the kind words, and thank you for joining us today. And WRS, thank you for taking the time and chatting with us.
You still there?
Hey, thanks for having me. It was really fun. And I just want to make some closing comments about the emission schedule in Monero. It incentivizes holders, and Gresham's law incentivizes spending the bad money first. Bad money drives the good money out of circulation. So I think all the incentives are lined up towards holding Monero and spending the fiat. I think the Monero community needs to get to terms with that.
So you're saying focus more on store of value, digital gold concept?
Yep. because people who need to spend it, who want to spend it, are going to do it anyway.
Sure. You know, I think that's good. I think the hesitation there is just not wanting to promise that Monero is offering some utility when nobody's really in a position to make that promise. And I think that's why
Oh yeah, it is
people
still
are
offering the utility.
losing faith. You know, there's question Bitcoin because of that, because their only value proposition is digital gold, and at the end of the day, that's really just based on faith, and there's no
And
underlying.
that's the thing, right? That's the only value proposition, but that's not the only thing with Monero. You can do both.
Yeah, you could do both, and then it has the underlying utility of actually being useful as cash. So
Yep, and the incentives are, I think, lined up towards holders.
Yes, but I agree with you in that, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong talking about Monero as a store of value, as it's not just digital cash, but it's also digital gold. If such thing exists, Monero seems to be more aligned with that than any other crypto in terms of its technology.
It definitely is. It is.
Thank you so much again, WRS, and we're going to close it out here. Monero-Pt, maybe we'll see you in Portugal when we go over for the conference, and WRS, we'll actually might be going to India in like around January, February.
Yeah, we're aiming for that.
I don't know.
Family trip,
but maybe we could work in a Monero meetup. We could host one somewhere.
As of right now, it's a family vacation.
India is a big place, but we could find a location. I'm sure maybe we can run into you over there. We could try to put together a Monero meetup. That'd be awesome.
And with that,
all right, guys.
Thank you all for joining us. There are 22 viewing right now. If you'd like, please hit that like button. You know, it helps.
Please do like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. So we can help to continue to grow the show, and make sure to watch our videos, our premieres that we've been posting on a weekly basis. And with that, I guess we'll say ciao. We'll see you next week. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate your time. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.